Alright, so today's video is going to be a little different. I am going to talk about an individual who exists in the political commentary space here on YouTube and in other parts of the internet, who claims to be a progressive, claims to be a part of the progressive movement, progressive activism, and I have been going back and forth with making this video a lot. I don't want people to think that I am just legitimately attacking somebody because I don't like them. That's not what I'm trying to do. That's not what I do here on this channel. I see things that I know aren't true or false or are misinforming or are just downright fucking awful. And I will comment on those things. And I'll tell you why I think those things are terrible or stupid or wrong. But the individual I'm going to talk about today, and if you saw the thumbnail and read the title of the video, then you already know who it is Jimmy Dore. And Jimmy Dore, if you're not familiar with him, used to be a part of the Young Turks. He is no longer a part of the Young Turks, and he has his show. He has his own show called The Jimmy Dore Show that he does all the time. And almost every single thing Jimmy Dore does and says, I cannot and do not agree with. And I saw this video pop up in my feed not too long ago. It's only a couple days old. It's called Marjorie Taylor Greene Gets COVID Right. And I have not watched all of it. I don't know if I'm going to watch all of it. It's about 8.5 minutes long. But I need to talk about Jimmy Dore as a whole in this video because I do truly believe that Jimmy Dore is a right-wing propaganda mouthpiece, and there's no way for me to go around saying that or saying something different about him, because almost all of the things that he says are conspiracy theories, literally right-wing propaganda, or they're just straight-up lies that you can disprove with something like a simple Google search. So let's start this video.
So what's weird is when they say Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene is a big conspiracy theorist and a nut job and crazy and nobody should ever listen to her. It's weird, though, that she's out lefting the left all the time.
Right off the bat, no. Jimmy makes this claim that Marge is out lefting the left on everything. War, COVID, whatever else it might be. You know, according to Jimmy Dore here, because Marge is against us funding parts of the war in Ukraine for Ukraine to be able to defend themselves from Russia, who literally invaded them for no reason. You know, according to Jimmy, this is Marjorie Taylor Greene out lefting the left, when that's, again, not what it is. That's not what's happening. Jimmy thinks that that's happening because in his own little world that he lives in, in his mind, this type of propaganda, it is literally propaganda for the less intelligent person. He believes this, and he thinks, wow, that was a really good take. Yeah, that made sense.
She was out lefting the squad on Ukraine. She's out lefting them on COVID, and she's telling the truth about COVID. So she says, remember when they told you not to take ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine to help you with COVID? I remember that. I remember when they told us that.
Do you, Jimmy?
They threatened to take away doctors' and pharmacists' license if they prescribed it. I remember that. My doctor told me that, and it was very hard for people to get prescriptions of ivermectin.
Hey, Jimmy, you know, you want to know what? You want to know what, guys? Jimmy's not going to tell you this, but Jimmy's the arbiter of truth. Jimmy tells it like it is. I'm going to tell you like it is really quick because Jimmy's fucking lying to you guys. Jimmy's lying to his whole audience. You remember? You remember when they wouldn't prescribe ivermectin? You want to know why they wouldn't prescribe ivermectin? And they were supposedly, one doctor did get his license taken away for prescribing ivermectin to patients that had COVID, and then trying to force hospitals to also prescribe ivermectin to patients that had COVID. Do you guys want to know why it wouldn't make sense to prescribe ivermectin to patients that have COVID-19? So for those of you that don't know, ivermectin is a drug made by a pharmaceutical company called Merck. Here they are, Merck & Co. Inc. That's their name. They are a multinational pharmaceutical company. Okay, Jimmy? I'm speaking directly toward Jimmy here, so apologize to all my viewers who are here, but I have to talk directly to Jimmy so he can understand this, because apparently he has the mind of a small child. So this is a pharmaceutical company. This is Merck's official pharmaceutical company website. This is their website. Here, on their website, they released a statement on February 4th, 2021. And do you guys know what this statement says? This statement from a pharmaceutical company says there is no scientific basis for a potential therapeutic effect against COVID-19 from preclinical studies. No meaningful evidence for clinical activity or clinical efficacy in patients with COVID-19 disease, and a concerning lack of safety data in the majority of studies. So right now, in this moment, we have, Jimmy, I hope you're listening, we have a statement from a pharmaceutical company. Jimmy hates the pharmaceutical companies. I know that most Americans do. I understand. It's a pharmaceutical company, not trustworthy at all. When a pharmaceutical company comes out and says, do not take our drug, they don't want people to take the drug that they made. They don't want them to take it because even the shitty pharmaceutical company that made the drug, okay, knows that it is not effective in treating COVID-19. And again, you can go look on Jimmy's channel. He is, according to him, he is super against the pharmaceutical industry. He's super against it. So, again, Jimmy, if we're going to use your own logic against you, if you're going to apply your own logic to your own life, why would it make sense for doctors to prescribe a drug that is not effective in treating the disease that they have? How does that make sense? And then in a couple seconds in the video, Jimmy's going to say, I'm following the science. That's what Jimmy's going to say about himself. The left isn't following the science. I am following the science. Jimmy, follow the science. This makes sense. What you're saying doesn't make any sense. It's hard to get ivermectin to treat COVID. You're not supposed to be getting ivermectin to treat COVID. But also to his point, and I don't want to speak too broadly on this, I know for a fact members of my family, and I live in Virginia, were able to get ivermectin. I spoke to one of my family members on the phone at the height of the COVID pandemic when all this ivermectin stuff was going on. My family member told me on the phone that that day after they got off work, that they picked up ivermectin for COVID. I am not lying to you. I would not make this up. Someone else that I am very close to, their family members got ivermectin and also took ivermectin at one point. So also, him saying that it was hard for people to get ivermectin, or, they were threatening to take away doctors' licenses, that's a lie too. Everything he said so far is a fucking lie. because it's all propaganda. And if Jimmy if Jimmy put this on his screen to show you guys, if Jimmy put the actual evidence, the science he's claiming to follow on the screen, then his whole argument would be done away with. That's why he can't put this stuff up on the screen, up on his show. He's not going to talk to you guys about this because it would make his entire platform of propaganda crumble into a million tiny fucking pieces. And I don't understand. I don't know. I don't know how this man can sit there and look at his camera and tell his audience straight fucking lies. These are just lies, Jimmy. You're a fucking liar. What a fucking liar.
They controlled and limited distribution of monoclonal antibodies. Remember that? I remember that. So if you lived in a red...
And again, it's... He doesn't understand basic science. Because something is available, Jimmy, that does not mean you need it. Oh my God. Do we need to even discuss this? I could have a conversation with a child right now, and I think that they would have a better understanding of this shit than a grown-ass man, Jimmy Dore, does. Jimmy, stop. He buys into the propaganda so easily and so fast. How did you go down this rabbit hole, Jimmy? What the fuck happened?
State, you could get monoclonal antibodies. But if you lived in a blue state, very hard to get them.
He's just lying. Again, there's no evidence of what he's saying. That's why the only thing on the screen is still Marge's tweet. He's not providing any evidence. You want to know why he's not providing any evidence, guys? Because there is no evidence to provide. Because he's lying.
Politicizing medicine at the behest of Big Pharma. That's for
even
Big
Dr.
Pharma.
Fauci, he was concerned about, he goes, I don't know why there's not more monoclonals around.
That's right.
Remember that?
Remember that even Fauci said, I don't know why there's not more monoclonals. He knows exactly why there weren't more monoclonals.
Why? Tell me, Jimmy. I need to know. I don't know, so maybe you should tell me.
So they owe answers, and I'll be asking.
You can't see that part because it's blocked.
So turns out she's right about that. And when someone's right about something, no matter if you disagree with them on every other thing, you should try to prop them up.
You know, I don't agree with that sentiment at all. I can't agree with that sentiment. That might be true for some people. But number one, what she's saying isn't true. So propping up someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene for saying these things wouldn't make sense because it's not true. Again, Jimmy's not going to tell you any of that. Jimmy's not going to tell you that because that would make his entire argument right out the fucking window. But that's not true at all. I mean, for him to say that you should prop up and give platform to anyone, even if it's some crazy fucking person, just because they're right on one thing, I mean, I understand what he's trying to say there, but what he's doing, he knows what he's doing here. You know, he knows what he's doing with we should prop up Marjorie Taylor Greene because look at what she's saying. Like, dude, come on. He's claiming to be a progressive. He's claiming to be part of the left, and he's just buying into all of the propaganda that they try to use, or that they literally put out there to get people like Jimmy Dore to say, well, that makes sense. Come on, Jimmy. Come on.
Even if you I probably disagree with Marjorie Taylor Greene on 99.9% of the things she says or believes. But she's right here.
She's not, though.
Jimmy, I disagree with 90% of the things I've been told she believes.
Just remember, Marjorie Taylor Greene's the one who said that masks don't work because you can still smell farts through your underwear. Okay.
I don't think there's Jewish space lasers.
I mean, so now here's our favorite pretend journalist who's actually a propagandist. He retweets her and says, this is what anti-science extremism looks like. No, actually, Walker, You're what anti-science extremism looks like, because you're not following the science. You've never followed the science.
Jimmy, explain again. Jimmy Dore, can you explain to your audience why doctors were not prescribing ivermectin to patients for COVID-19? Jimmy, can you explain that? I want to know where Jimmy and all these other people got the idea that ivermectin was effective, that hydrochloroquine was effective in treating COVID-19. Where did you get that information, Jimmy? Where did you hear that? Because the science that you're claiming to follow doesn't match up with what you are saying. Again, I'm only 2 minutes into this video. I'm not going to watch the rest of it. Nothing he's going to say is right. He is literally, I love this word. Jimmy Dore's a fucking quack. He is literally a mouthpiece for right-wing propaganda. And he's claiming to be part of the progressive movement. He's claiming to exist in the progressive space, trying to say, you know, all of these things are proof that, you know, the Democrats and, you know, the left they're not really leftists, you know, things like force the vote, things like this, saying that Marjorie Taylor Greene is right on COVID-19. You know, I really just, I don't know why so many that exist in the progressive media space here on YouTube sit and say that something like someone like Jimmy Dore is, you know, he's really telling it like it is, and people like Sam Cedar, they're not for the working class people. Jimmy can't even, he just lies. It's just conspiracy laden rants. He just put up a tweet from Marjorie Taylor Greene claiming that she was right, and I disproved almost everything in that tweet. Everything that I could, at least, because that tweet was a fucking load of lies and conspiracies. But again, Jimmy Dore, he's not going to tell you that, because Jimmy Dore is a liar. Jimmy Dore is a conspiracy theorist, and above all else, Jimmy Dore is literally just a grifter.